So you've poured your heart and soul into creating something new, a prototype you're really excited about. But then comes the hard part, getting feedback. And let's be honest, that feedback usually comes in as this messy, chaotic jumble of opinions. So today, we're going to talk about how to turn all that chaos into real clarity using one super powerful tool.
I mean, this is the question for anyone making anything new, right? You've built it, you believe in it, but how do you really know if it works for other people? How can you be sure it actually solves the problem you wanted it to solve?
And here's the thing, the answer isn't just to, go ask some people. Actually, the most common way people do this, just random, unplanned testing, is often where fantastic ideas go to die. They just get lost in the sea of confusing, contradictory feedback.
It's so tempting, isn't it? The first step feels so easy. Just hand your prototype to someone and see what they do. It's quick, it feels productive, but this kind of unstructured approach is absolutely loaded with hidden traps that can waste your time and honestly send you in completely the wrong direction.
And this slide really shows you the difference. On one side, you've got the unplanned mess. You get inconsistent results every time, you waste so much time, and the data you get back is, well, it's pretty much useless. But look at the other side. When you have a plan, that chaos turns into a purposeful, efficient process, and that is where you get real, meaningful insights. So how do we get from the messy side to the organized side? How do we make that leap? Well, we need a blueprint, a strategic guide that brings some much-needed order and focus to the whole thing. And that blueprint is what we call a prototype testing plan. Now, don't let the formal names scare you. Think of it as your game plan for getting good feedback. It's simply a document where you write down your goals, the methods you're going to use, and what success actually looks like.
And this is a really crucial mindset shift. With a plan, you stop just being a casual observer, kind of hoping for the best. You actually become a researcher. You're conducting a controlled experiment that's designed to get you specific, reliable answers. And the payoff here is huge. I mean, look at this. A solid plan gives you consistency, so you can actually compare apples to apples. It stops you from spinning your wheels and collecting useless data, and most importantly, it helps you turn all that feedback into insights that lead to real, impactful improvements on your project.
Okay, so we're convinced, right? A plan is the way to go. But where do you even start? What's the first step in creating one? Well, it all begins with focus. You have to decide what, specifically, you need to test.
And this is so important, because you can't test everything. You just can't. If you try to test every single button, every link, every feature all at once, it's just a recipe for disaster. You'll overwhelm your testers, and you'll be left with feedback that's a mile wide and an inch deep. So the question is, how do you narrow it down?
Here's a simple, four-step way to think about it. First, just identify your key features. What's the most essential part of your prototype? Let's say for a photo app, it's uploading a photo. Step 2, outline the user action. What is the critical task? Well, a user needs to successfully upload a photo. Simple. Third, define what success looks like. What's the expected behavior? The photo shows up in their gallery in under 5 seconds. And finally, you got to anticipate the pain points. Where might they get stuck? Maybe they won't be able to find the upload button. See? Just like that, you have a super targeted, specific thing to test. And remember, the whole point of this is to get high-quality, specific feedback, not just an overwhelming amount of it. A focused plan makes sure you get exactly that, instead of drowning in a flood of opinions about tiny details that don't really matter right now. All right, so now you know what you're going to test. The next piece of the puzzle is just as crucial. Who are you going to test with? This really matters.
I mean, the whole goal here is to see how your prototype is going to do out in the real world, right? And if you just test with a random group of people, your results are going to be skewed. The source material puts it perfectly. A good plan ensures the results reflect real-world user behavior rather than biased or unrepresentative samples.
And here's what that really means. Look at the difference. The right participants are your actual target users, the people you're building this for. They're the ones who will give you reliable insights. The wrong participants are just whoever's convenient, your friends, your family. And while they mean well, their feedback is usually biased. It's just not going to reflect how real users will act. So let's just boil this all down. What's the big transformation here? A testing plan moves you from random to structured, from chaos to a clear process. It shifts your mindset from just watching people to doing real science. And most importantly, it's what allows you to move from just having a pile of data to having a real insight that will make your project a success.
Ultimately, that plan becomes your foundation. It's what lets you run tests that are controlled, so the feedback is valid, repeatable, so you can measure your improvements over time, and productive so that every single minute you invest actually pushes your project forward.
So I'll just leave you with this thought. Your prototype is built. The potential is there. The only question now is your plan strong enough to actually make it better?